Namaste, dear friends. My name is Jaymini Sahai, and I am a Kathak dance artist based in the UK. On behalf of Annapurna Indian Dance Company, I welcome you all today as we celebrate this very special occasion of International Women's Day. I'm delighted to be joined today by none other than Dr. Geetha Upadhyaya. Geetha ji is a consultant in metabolic medicine and also holds a postgraduate degree in Bharatanatyam and Carnatic music. Namaste, Geetha ji. It's so lovely to see you today. On a personal front, I'm so excited, to sit here and speak with you today and hear about these two lives that you juggle. So thank you so much for joining us.
Namaste, Jaymini, and thanks to Shantha and Annapurna Dance Company for inviting me to talk to you today, and I'm delighted to be with you today.
So Geetha ji, we've got so much to cover. I mean, I know just a tiny bit, a little bit about your life, but I'm sure everyone would love to hear about how your dance journey started, where did it start, how did it start, and anything you can tell us about that artistic side of your life, if possible.
I come from a family where music is very important. All of us study music because it's a little bit of an orthodox family. However, I was besotted with dance after seeing my Jayanti ji and Padmini ji and others dance. And so I was keen to do that, and my parents supported me, my father especially, who was an ophthalmologist. He said, okay, and it just so happened that one of his patients was my dance teacher as well. He came to his clinic, and then my father expressed this desire. So he said, okay, I'll start classes with her. So I started when I was about 8, 10 or so. And his name was Padma Shri Dandayadapani Pillai. And later on, I came to know that all the most popular film stars of South and North studied with him. He took me to another teacher, Gauri Amma, Mailapur Gauri Amma, who taught Abhinaya mainly, mime and expression. And that's how my career started. But the other side of it was that my family were full of doctors. So they insisted I should also go to that field and nothing else. So I had to sort of put this as a hobby and to the side and do medicine as a main profession.
So Geetha ji, that's just amazing to hear how it all started. I'm just kind of visualizing as you're talking how it must have been. And then you mentioned it was put aside as a bit of a hobby, and then obviously you had your mainstream profession. So how did you find kind of balancing these two very different aspects of your life, your artistic side and obviously your profession?
In India, it was different because I learned dance in Chennai, in India. And, there were classes thrice a week sometimes. Each class would go on for not just an hour or 45 minutes as we do here once a week. It would be for 3-4 hours continuously. But, I was so passionate about it. And my teacher always said that once there was an exam, I had to do anatomy, and my teacher landed up suddenly. So when I told him I have an exam, he said, is this not important for you? So then I thought, yes, I have to give equal weightage to anything I'm doing. Only then I would do justice to anything I do. And that's how I continued. And I was performing for him and with all community events, the college events, so on and so forth. Then I went to Malaysia actually from India, and I taught for the Temple of Fine Arts there in Penang. And I continued the same, Monday to Friday, medical work, Saturday, Sunday dance. So that's how I sort of balanced that. And coming to England, I didn't know there was any dance here at all at that time. And I attended a performance, and I saw that it was a Bharatanatyam performance by a young student. And, my husband is from the background of clinical psychology and passionate about people with disability. But we didn't see anybody with disability in the audience, nor any mainstream white people. So that set us thinking, and we said, where are the other people in this area? Nobody's come. It was only one community in that group. So he suggested we must start something called KALA SANGAM, where the arts and the Sangam of confluence of artists, audiences, parents, students, everything comes together, and that's how it evolved. And then I used to work in Guy's Hospital, Freeman Hospital, and then I ended up in Hull Royal. So daytime, it's work there, and evening, teaching classes. That's how it happened. And performances every Saturday and Sunday.
Absolutely amazing. As far as I can remember, I know you were busy leading the team in the Kala Sangam offices. And I remember you taking time in the evenings to teach the regular Bharatanatyam classes, not just in Bradford, but in several locations across the Yorkshire region. And I'm just wondering, how did you get your energy to do a full day's work and then have the energy to teach possibly beginner students, and again, all across the Yorkshire region? So we'd love to hear a little bit about, how you managed that and where you got your energy from.
Well, definitely not from Horlicks or Ensure or anything. What happened was I started classes in Leeds first. Kala Sangam was founded in Leeds. And it was always after working office hours. But then I didn't know anything about Arts Council or funding or anything like that. So when they came, a very nice dance officer called Mileva approached me and said, I heard you teach classical Indian dance, you started it. So can we offer you little funding? And I thought about it and I said, sorry, thank you, but no thanks. The reason is I was not sure if I would be able to continue classes working in, as a consultant in NHS and doing this work. And I think she was quite surprised to hear, no, thank you. But then I started classes in Leeds leading to Bradford and then to Hull, wherever in the Yorkshire region. And then it spread beyond that because people started saying, would you come over and teach us in Manchester and Newcastle? So I actually, at one point, there were about 10 or 12 classes I was doing per week, like Mondays in Leeds and Bradford and Hull, Wakefield, Doncaster, Manchester, Ashton, Bolton, Newcastle and Middlesbrough, Sheffield. And that brought in income into the company because we both were determined, my husband and I, that we won't take money unless we know it will work. Sure. So once we got that income, and I think you came in then at the very early stages, you were helping me with teaching as well as a lot of performance. You've done over 100 performances with us, and each one has been simply superb, Jay.
Thank you so much.
So, then the other artists started coming in, and one by one, gradually the company grew. So I had to reduce my working hours in the NHS. And at one point, it became so much that I had to really quit NHS for a while just to focus on this because I realized that we had no proper venue to perform. And we were rehearsing in corridors and, changing rooms and things like that. So we were thinking we must get a building. So that's when I had to come off NHS and focus on this, getting a building for Kala Sangam.
And then I guess that's where the Capital Project started, and that's what we have today. Is it St. Peter's House?
It is. St. Peter's House we did a feasibility study of 21 buildings. Why we went to Bradford was because there was no space coming along in Leeds. So when I went to Bradford, there was a Carlisle Business Centre. Mm-hmm. And the director, Gurdev Singh Dahile, offered me 6 months rent-free period. So we took that as a first step. And then we applied for this. And these 20 buildings, St. Peter's House was the best, although it was not the ideal one.
Right.
It's a post office and it was not suited for dance or a performing arts organization. However, we put in a lot of effort to change the whole thing to suit a performing arts venue. And I think it has done quite well, because the history of the building is it was closed for 5 years. So it was in a terrible state when we went in. And somehow we managed to revive the building, which is good for Bradford. And it's going to be revived again, I guess.
And that's a listed building, isn't it? So
It's a grade 2 listed building, yes.
wonderful, wonderful.
It's a beautiful building built by Sir Henry Tanner. He is an architect who focuses on these sort of big, huge post office buildings.
It's part of history.
Absolutely.
You have several students all across the globe, and I believe some of them have done Arangetram. Some of your students are going through Arangetrams. When you see your student achieving that level in Bharatanatyam, how does that make you feel, as a guru, as a teacher?
Personally, first thing is I'm grateful to God that I had an opportunity to learn this immensely, tremendously wonderful art form. There's nothing to beat a classical Indian dance and music. There are wonderful composers of the West as well, in the Western music and, the ballet and things like that. But the sad thing is this art form and this heritage is not promoted as much as it should be. Many people don't still know it. So when I think of I had an opportunity to do just a little drop in the ocean, to spread this art form to other children and students. It's a huge blessing, Jay, honestly. And I feel very grateful for this and humbled by it. And that's why I always remember Annie Besant, the theosophist, who settled in India. She's from Scotland and she settled in India. She always said that arts is the purifier of humanity. It wipes out coarseness in the heart. It elevates your soul. So it's done tremendous wonders for me. It's made me understand people better. The empathetic attitude is much, much more deeper now than ever before. Although medicine, you have to have a lot of empathy. Arts brings it in a creative manner to you.
Absolutely.
So these are the wonderful blessings of being an artist. And I'm trying to still use it as much as I can.
Oh, it's just so inspiring, just sitting here and just able to listen to your words of wisdom. It's giving me goosebumps. It's so lovely.
This art form is a spiritual experience. And once you have that in you, everything else seems nothing at all. And, having worked with very difficult situations, for example, not just dance and music, I've also used poetry and painting and things like that, working with 20 women who were severely depressed. So they would look down all the time. They never make eye contact, and we did creative writing with them, leading to a publication read by them in Alhambra studio. So that tells you the power of the arts, and it's such a healer.
Absolutely. You have such an amazing life. You've done so much. If you were to rethink and do anything differently, would you have any regrets on anything? Would you do anything differently, do you think?
Not differently, because I'm very passionate about medicine as well. I'm still practicing. And I also did a post-graduation in counseling and psychotherapy, which has opened my inner eye even more to understand that just prescribing tablets and talking to somebody is not enough. You need to delve deeper into their feelings, because that mind-body link and connection is much more clearer to me now. And that helps me to heal people better. So I don't want to give up medicine ever. And arts, maybe I could have done it in a different way here in KALA SANGAM, because you need to know the language. It's not enough if you know the art form alone. You need to know the marketing language, funding language, and those sort of things. And I come from a totally different background, in the sense I dance, I perform, I can teach. But administration of arts is something I knew nothing about. Fundraising or writing a business plan and so on and so forth. Because in NHS, we don't need to know business plan writing. Somebody else does that. So that was a steep learning curve. I really learned a lot, and my guru is Yvonne Dean, who is a star in the art world, especially in the admin side. And she taught me even how to maintain accounts, finances, management accounts. So, apart from this, I learned a lot there. And that is what I would have done differently, because I think every artist, however good their art form is, they need to have some sort of training in the admin side of things, not just writing emails and that sort of a thing, much more serious training.
Yeah.
Because that would help them to grow the company in a better manner.
Right. Geetha, I'm interested to hear. So obviously in the UK, there's lots of young musicians, young dancers who are trying to forge their own path, and perhaps in a similar position where they're juggling kind of two aspects of their life. They're holding down a full-time job, and they're also pursuing their artistic journey. I mean, I fit into that category too. What would your message be to somebody like me and many others like me who find themselves torn between two things, having to kind of do the full-time job as a source of income, but the heart is in the arts? And what would your message be to us?
This is something you're doing this dance, even if you have a profession. Taking you for an example, you started dance very young and you've never stopped till now. And that's only because of your passion, your commitment to the arts. I think that's most important for young dancers, because you can easily get disillusioned or disenchanted and also very disappointed if you're working somewhere and you're not able to rehearse properly, you're not getting performance opportunities, constantly writing bids. I've heard many young artists tell me, oh, I just can't bear writing bids. I just want to perform. And that's why they studied arts. So it's the willpower to stick to it, never give up. If you believe in something, stick to it, persevere. So I always tell that you need to first have a lot of patience, and then you need to persevere. Keep practicing, don't give up, and then you become perfect. So I follow the code of 4Ps.
Yeah,
That's what I would advise all upcoming artists. Whatever happens, don't give up. Because it's easy to give up.
Yes.
When there's regret will follow, oh, I gave up and, I could have done this. So just get on with it. Just keep practicing, be patient, persevere, and one day it will happen. Because you become perfect, you become so good that you will have to get performance opportunities. You will have to be, recognized by art bodies or organizations and the public.
I've said it again and I'll say it again. It's just inspiring and very, very motivating to sit and have this conversation and listen to your kind of pearls of wisdom. And there are times where I felt like that. Why am I? But
it's natural. It's just natural to feel so. You're not just saying, oh, I've had enough of it, I'm giving up.
So your message is just keep going, don't stop, just keep going and keep going. Geetha, it's just been an absolute delight, and I'm very humbled to sit here in front of you today and have a lovely conversation with you. And again, on this very special occasion of International Women's Day, and I'm very grateful to Shantha ji of Annapurna Indian Dance for giving me the opportunity to sit and speak with you and share, your journey with us. So thank you so much for giving us and your valuable time and sharing with us today. And you've given us all a absolute treat, and I'm absolutely delighted. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Jay, for your time, for your interest in, asking me these questions, and to Shantha as well, who I've known since I started KALA SANGAM. So, Shantha is a very committed, very, very passionate. If you want to know about passion, definition of passion of dance, I would only mention Shanti's name. And she has never given up. This, what I just said, the 4 P's, the perseverance, and that is Shantha. So I'm very, very grateful to her for this opportunity, and I wish you the very best in your career of Kathak, and Shanti for what she's doing in Annapurna, and may Annapurna grow and glow more. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.